In the first two parts of this small video series, the PREUSSEN Alliance captured 3 bases on map 240, which is otherwise completely dominated by the Big Alliance. The 18 home bases of the PREUSSEN players and the 3 home bases of the Big players that can be seen on the minimap naturally only reflect half of the truth. The strongest players of both alliances have their home bases on other maps and transfer their troops via the highway. That's what makes these highways so important, and that's why they are constantly hotly contested. PREUSSEN dominated the upper highway in this phase. Big the western one. The other highways played no role in the course of the battle. Furthermore, Big tries to attack the home bases of the PREUSSEN players in order to push them off the map. The freshly captured bases quickly expanded with accelerators. In the other bases, defense troops are built to hold the bases once taken. The helicopter carpets of PREUSSEN are already known from many other videos. They will be used here as well. Big drove up some troops threatening to take back one of the freshly captured PREUSSEN bases. PREUSSEN tried to disrupt Big early in the process. At the same time, Big supplies via the highways were disrupted whenever possible. The PREUSSEN home bases scattered around the map also attacked elsewhere from time to time. In Big, the idea was to create a sense of chaos. A powerlessness because you wouldn't be able to defend in all places at once. Yet, these attacks by the small players were not continuous waves of attacks. Big could have rebuilt defensive towers. But one or the other Big player was probably not online, and the consumption of Big's presumably high stocks of concrete was definitely part of the PREUSSEN tactics. In the meantime, especially in the contested north, Big had upgraded many of the bases to level 3 that had originally only been on level 2, and Big added jammers, radar and side towers. Once again, a lot of money had been invested here. Attack targets on the upper highway were naturally attractive to PREUSSEN because of the short supply routes. Big had to bring defense troops across the few bridges where they often were worn down. Still, low group limits were a noticeable problem for PREUSSEN. Defending a base while attacking at the same time was almost impossible. So suddenly there were 2 fronts. In the northwest, Big attacked the base lost shortly before to PREUSSEN, and near the northern highway, PREUSSEN attacked another Big base. What could be done in defense was also attempted, but most of the time Big was able to attack largely undisturbed. Defense tower after defense tower fell while Big kept rolling in new material. While PREUSSEN captured the giant base, the base taken shortly before fell. Easy come, easy go. This round ended in a draw, and for the time being there were only 3 captured bases. Again and again Big tried to break the PREUSSEN dominance on the northern highways. Conversely, PREUSSEN tried to disrupt Big on the western highway. In the battle for the northern river bases, Big brought another weapon into the game. The first AMS was sighted. It received some company shortly thereafter. PREUSSEN brought a B-25 bomber and sank the AMS. Shortly after, a new AMS arrived, this time from the player Burniman. With outrageous luck, he managed to save the AMS to a base with only 1% life. Now Big also brought flower howitzer boats. One was quickly sunk, but since Big was also dominant in the air, PREUSSEN suddenly came under real pressure. In addition, Big replaced lost units at lightning speed. No sooner had a flower been sunk, a new one was there to replace it. A healthy AMS was then added as well. Again, this one could flee with only a few % left. Bound by the fighting on the river, PREUSSEN was briefly inattentive on the northern highway, and Big brought several groups of breeders and M16s onto the map. With 2 AMS on the river, the flower boat howitzers, clear air superiority and numerous breeder groups, Big recaptured the giant base PREUSSEN had captured just before. By now, it was after 2 AM and the fighting continued for several more hours, although I have no recorded footage of it. On Saturday morning, the situation was very sobering for PREUSSEN. All the bases previously taken had fallen back to Big overnight. The many blue bases on the minimap were all just home bases of the smaller Big players. That was bitter. Was that the moment to resign? Did PREUSSEN have to admit that the attack had failed? Would PREUSSEN give up or dare a new attack? This and much more can be seen in the further episodes of this small video series.